Reasons you should not be jealous of me, except I'm only going to do it from events that happened this past Sunday on Mother's Day through today, Wednesday. So I went to visit my mom this Sunday, and we decided to go through drawers and clean them out together for fun. And we discovered my old medical records. And since 1999, when I was 5 years old, we found out that I was suicidal. And on top of it, I had ADHD and anxiety and depression. And I got held back a year because my emotional instability was so bad I didn't have bad grades. Then as we keep digging, I was actually diagnosed with bipolar 3 different times as a child, a teenager, and an adult. And I found out that I was on antipsychotics as a preteen, which is pretty tough medication. And I think I am bipolar, but on top of it, I've talked to several therapists over the past 10 years that all think I have BPD as well. And I actually just got diagnosed this week with BPD and have to start therapy for 3 hours every week. And if you miss a session, you're kicked out of the program. You have to do it for a year, and then you graduate from the program. And I already missed a session. But also, this week coming up on Friday, I have a hearing for disability because I have ME/CFS, and I'm not going to go too far into details with that, but that's been going on since 2020. My disability case has been open for 3 years now. And then my lawyer calls me and says, we don't have your medical record since 2023. And on top of it, he's like, your doctor that you have now doesn't even acknowledge that you have ME/CFS. He says you have possibly fibromyalgia. And I'm like, great, that doesn't help me at all. This is the same doctor who was 300 pounds, but didn't find it weird that I was 95 pounds for about a decade and haven't really changed anything. And then all of a sudden shot up to 140 pounds. And he said, oh, that's fine, it's normal. Maybe it's because you drink beer. I've been drinking beer since I was 16, okay? I don't think just drinking a beer with dinner is doing that. But anyway, I'm concerned about it, and he's like, I don't care. I also burnt my leg with a heater. I told him I burnt my leg with a heater, and he was like, no, this is a serious rash. And I'm like, no, I looked it up online. It can happen from burning your leg with a heater. So then he goes to a supervisor, and he's like, I think this is a serious rash, or whatever. And the supervisor's like, no, this is a burn from a heater. I've seen this before. And so I'm trying to get a new doctor, but I can't because my disability hearing is in 2 days. So on top of that, after I get off the phone, I'm in my backyard, and there is a small child who comes out of a house, and they're speaking mostly Spanish. So I actually have studied Spanish and tried to talk to them the best I could in Spanish. But then the small child came up and wanted to play with my dog, and my dog is super friendly, so I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And this kid gives this dog such a passionate hug, a very almost emotional hug. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, but not weird. It was cute, but it was different. And then the kid kept saying, "Mommy passed something," and I thought they were saying something about mommy's passport. But then I realized the child was saying, "Mommy passed away." And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry to hear that. I'm so sad, but kids also make things up. So I didn't really know what to say. And then he said something about Keelani shot mommy. And I was like, what? But also I work with students, and I'm like, okay, probably just something kids are saying. Then a man comes out of the house, and he says, oh, that's my nephew. Did he say something about his mom dying? And I said, yes. And I was expecting him to go, oh, that's just something he says. But no, he goes, yeah, that happened last week. She was shot. She was only 19. And this kid is 4 and adorable, and I wanted to adopt him right there on the spot. But yeah, the guy basically said, I'm just taking care of him. We don't know where he's going. And it broke my heart. Then I get a message from my pharmacy, and I have been on ADHD medicine since I was 17, and I've also tried it on and off since I was a kid. I've been diagnosed with ADHD in childhood, teenhood, and adulthood, and it's pretty damn obvious that I have it. So anyway, I have been on Ritalin, and I told my psychiatrist, I don't know